All right. Stream starting in. I think we are live. Sweet. All right, cool. At least it's showing that we're live. Let's go ahead and do this thing. We'll check Facebook. Facebook family out there. If you see me, go ahead and like the video, comment on the video. Yep, it looks like we are. Perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and push this on over to the C Bob group. Y'all know how we do every Friday on the Black Friday show. Tune in, make sure that you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe as well. And then go ahead and comment while we're doing this because we want to make sure that we can answer any questions or bring up anything live as it's going. And then if we don't get it live, we'll definitely address it later on so that we get your questions answered as well. So still pushing out to everybody, and it has to go to everybody because we want to make sure that everybody can be included in these conversations. So share out that video all across the interwebs, as it would be. And let's do this thing on the Black Friday show. Once again, I have the Aya Foundation on today. We have CEO Benny Samuels and COO Tanoa Manuel. And did I say it, man? Did I say it correctly? Is it Manuel? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Perfect. I was gonna say, like a lot of people, they'll say Manuel or what have you, but I know it's Manuel, right?
I appreciate that.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. So we have the Aya Foundation on, and real quick, I'm just gonna set this up for everybody so that y'all know. Um, we are going to be talking about their Jump Start My Biz cohort that just finished up. So we want to introduce that to you all if you don't know about that. But the Aya Foundation truly is Colorado's Black serving and Black led operating community foundation. Now, you might be wondering, what is a community foundation? What does that mean, BJ? Well, a community foundation, by quote definition, is a excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm going to mess up this word, philanthropic institution that serves a geographically defined area, pulling resources from various donors to address local needs and support charitable activities, often through grants to nonprofits and organizations. Now, that's the definition, the textbook definition, Benny and Tanoa. Would you fill us in on truly what a community foundation is that Aya is for the Black community here in Colorado?
Good morning to everyone. This is Benny Samuels, and I serve as the CEO of the Aya Foundation. And thank you for having us.
Yeah.
The Aya Foundation is your definition is just right. That's exactly what it does. It's an institution that holds the philanthropic dollars and desires of a community. Other examples of community foundations in the state are like Rose is a community foundation.
Right.
The Women's Foundation of Colorado is a community foundation. Colorado Gives is a community foundation. So they are not just doing philanthropic work with grants, but they're also hosting philanthropists' dollars that they want to deploy into community. And so we are, this is our fifth year. And so we are a small but growing philanthropic organization. And we came to be, honestly, because there wasn't a community foundation in the IRS definition of the word in the state of Colorado that was serving the Black community. There is, the Women's Foundation serves women.
Right.
Rose serves the Jewish community. The Latino Community Foundation serves the Latino community, but there wasn't really one that was dedicated to the Black community. And frankly, when all of that George Floyd money was flowing into Colorado for the Black community, because we didn't have a foundation, there wasn't a Black-led and Black-serving institution where that money could go into.
Yeah. And help guide it to the right places then.
Exactly. So we are here now and growing, and we're excited to tell you all about the things that we're doing to support Black entrepreneurs. And let me also just say this, because this is an important distinction. At least right now, Aya is completely focused on closing the wealth gap in the Black community through business ownership. So our complete focus is with small business owners, entrepreneurs, founders, and even those that are aspiring to own businesses, right? We do very little work at this time with nonprofits. Our
Mm,
focus is for profits, startups, and small businesses. And that's because we understand that there's a gap in the
mhm.
support that that for profits get. Right, there are a lot of all foundations in the state are supporting nonprofits.
Yeah.
Very few of them support startups. And in the absence of, I'm not saying that this doesn't exist at all in our community, but the network of family and friends that other communities have to help businesses start up with money and with seed and with gifts doesn't exist as plentiful in our community. So
Indeed.
the foundation is seeking to alleviate some of that.
Right. And let's, as far as like businesses are concerned and building up the Black business ecosystem, if we do that, now we have an economic base in which to draw
Correct.
from for our Black nonprofits, right?
Correct.
So it makes total sense in what you're doing, and I applaud the effort of IA Foundation and for you all and what your work has been doing up to this point. So that's awesome. And so, how does then Jumpstart My Biz, that cohort and that program, factor into the programming and the mission and vision of Aya?
Well, I will jump in. Hey, y'all. I'm Tanoa Manuel. Jumpstart My Biz is probably one of my favorite programs that we have at Aya. It really focuses on the foundational pillars that entrepreneurs need to be thinking about. So we take in entrepreneurs that are in ideation, are rebuilding, are rethinking, potentially have come to a stopping point and don't know what's next. And mostly really for community, right? We are serving Black entrepreneurs. And so I think most times it's just nice to be in that space with like-minded individuals that look just like you on a similar journey to you, so you don't feel like you're in this silo on this entrepreneurial journey, which can be hard sometimes. And so us gathering folks and being able to say like, hey, this is what it looks like. Myself and Jonathan are the facilitators of that program, and we're both entrepreneurs. So it's kind of nice to be able to speak from a space of, we know what it looks like to not have this, or when we didn't have this resource, or what it looks like to grow and finally get to a point of like, oh, well, what's next after this, and plan and scale and do all those things. And so to be able to pour that back in to the next generation or the upcoming entrepreneurs is super impactful and important to us. And that is economic mobility. So our program is 5 weeks long. We host it in March and October. And like I said, it's all foundational. So we talk about business entity, like why are you setting your business up as an LLC and what tax
Mhm.
implications does that have? We talk about when to register your business. EIN is really the foundational principles of where we start, along with mindset. Like, where is your mindset? Is this a hobby? Is it something that you want to build? Is this something that you want to give to your kids? Are you trying to build something generational or legacy building? And that's all in your mindset. Like, why are you doing the work? How are you aligned in that work so that you can do it and do it very well? So we talk about mindset. And then it really just breaks down from there. We talk about design thinking and what it means to research and prototype all the time in your business as you're growing and scaling and thinking about different things. We talk about customer avatar and marketing and branding and the importance of that. Pricing structure, like the price is the price and it's okay. And like everyone's not going to be your client. So if they're not going to be your client, how do you tell that story so that you do find the proper client that wants to work with you, that you can support and see, be seen in your work? So we
Right.
talk a lot about that. We talk about soft skills, like what does it look like to be able to have email communication or to be able to talk about your product or service to someone? What does it look like to negotiate? Because that's okay too. We can negotiate what things
Yeah.
look like, and
What
how we
about being timely?
listen here. No, no, love it. Okay, I'm gonna be so censored because we're on this live. About productivity and timeliness. I think one of the biggest things, even for me on this entrepreneur journey, is treating this like something that's real and powerful, right? I know we
Mhm.
talk about leaving systems, right? We like become entrepreneurs because I'm tired of the system or I'm tired of
Right.
this or, all these different things. And the reality is I tell all the entrepreneurs, like, you've got to create a system that you work in. You've
Mhm.
got to know how to email back and be timely. You have to have productivity. You have to time block. You have to understand working in your business versus on your business and like having a equal balance of what that looks like. Just because you can make a hamburger does not mean you need to own the restaurant. So I feel like what we do at Jumpstart really helps us understand how do we own the restaurant? How do we really become a business, and take that thing that we do really well and give it to the world? So we love Jumpstart. I'm super excited about that program and like the evolution of it.
Yeah.
I will say the last week of our Jumpstart class, we just saw a need for our entrepreneurs to actually then be connected to the things we just talked about and like them
Mhm.
seeing that those things are actively available in our community and really within 6 feet. And so in the last class, we bring our community partners in. So we have people that are in the marketing division. We have people from the city come. We have the minority business office there and banks and all kinds of resources that then immediately entrepreneurs are like, oh, we just talked about that. Oh, and that's the resource for it. Just realizing that it isn't really a silo journey. It's just you got to
Right.
know where to go look for the resources, and they do exist in our community. And we want to be that warm handoff that says, like, I know this person, and
Yeah.
here's the handoff, and this is what they do, and they are received and welcomed in that space in a way that feels good. I think Aya is creating necessary space for the Black community to be able to feel seen, heard, and felt in the work that they want to do.
Right. Now you all just finished up this cohort, right? It was just this week that finished up. What are some of the takeaways from this particular cohort that you all learned? Some of the things that the business owners were experiencing and dealing with, and like some of the successes that came out of this particular cohort.
I think this cohort was really advanced.
Okay.
I think most of the entrepreneurs that came in, they are running businesses already. They are already making money. And I think they came to a standstill on like certain pieces just missing, right? We
Mm,
most times get into this work sometimes by happenstance, like, oh, we see a need, we're going to fill it. We don't have a mission, we don't have a, a value state, none of that, right? We're just
right.
doing the work. And I think that was this cohort. This cohort is out here doing the work, boots on the ground, feeling good about what they're doing, but not
Mm,
haven't really articulated that on paper. And we want to make sure that entrepreneurs have the business plan, have the strategy, have the understanding of their business on paper. Because if you walk into the bank, I love that we can talk about the story, but I want to see it on paper and I want to
yeah.
be able to actualize it and know how we can support you and what the resources are. So I think that was the biggest takeaway for our group was like,
Mm,
oh, this is what it looks like. We had people walk away once we understood mission, vision, and values and finally put their stuff together, come out of there with new contracts and new opportunities and new networks, just because it's no longer in your head. I think another big piece is we had a few entrepreneurs that were in ideation, really just toggling between who they are and their work and not really understanding that it's okay to integrate exactly who you are in all the
mm,
hats that you wear and like wear that boldly and proud and tell your story. If you don't tell your story, someone else is going to tell your story. And so like that was a huge moment for our entrepreneurs as well. I think as facilitators, for me personally, it's always good to be seen as just a human being trying to do this work with them.
mhm.
Right. I am too also an entrepreneur. I also work at this small foundation where it's just Benny and I. And so to be seen in that way of like, I am human, I'm working through things too. I'm still learning from you all as well is probably the biggest thing that I could take away as a facilitator who does this work every day is like, I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate when something doesn't feel good and we have to figure it out because you're seeing me as this human in this work who doesn't all have it together, but I'm definitely showing up and doing my very best to make sure that the information is correct. If I don't know it, I'm going to figure it out. We'll find out for you. And I think that resonates with our entrepreneurs that we're all on the journey. No matter what you may think, we are figuring it out too. And
Yeah.
so walking with us is super crucial. So I would say those were some of the biggest things that this cohort gave to me. And I'm super grateful to like watch those entrepreneurs now trickle into other programs that we have or ask for other resources that we're partnered with. And even hearing like, yo, we'll come back or bring a friend the next time, or
Yeah.
things are super important to us in our work.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's
I
awesome.
wanted to just add that I love seeing each cohort because I love just knowing and learning what our communities are thinking about and the
Mhm.
ideas that they have and their creativity, and I just love that. I mean, we had three people in in our cohort this time that were in home health care, right? That's like a really booming business. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made there. There's a lot of need for that. And it's just great to see people that we had two doulas, right? Maternal
Yes,
mortality is a huge thing for our community.
for
So to
sure.
see them leaning into this as a business, we had a horticulturalist. I mean, he calls himself a gardener, but my marketing tells me that
Yeah, right.
that is getting ready to teach people how to grow their vegetables
That's
and
awesome.
their garden. I mean, just it just is so positive to see our community, lean into their creativities and to their gifts and
Yeah.
turn that into something that makes money and is also supportive of customers, right?
Right, right. No, definitely. I mean, with those particular spaces that you talked about, like healthcare, I mean, that's huge. That's booming. It's going to grow. It's I think the number one industry, like in Colorado, so
Hmm.
is healthcare. So yeah, the more people that we can get in there, and doulas. There's somebody who was just asking about a doula the other day in the Colorado Black owned
Yeah,
operated Facebook group, right? And
yeah,
they're like, doula, I need a doula because I don't want to do the home
yeah,
thing. And
yeah,
it's funny you like with that thing, like not only were they asking that, you're bringing it up. My daughter and I and my wife, we were talking about this the other day about birth and what goes into that process and how it used to be
yeah,
where we didn't go to hospitals. Like that's a new thing. That was
yeah.
what past 80 years or something like
Correct,
that. People finally, or were getting
correct.
moved to hospitals. So yeah, you were doing those things at home or wherever with a doula or somebody who is birthing and
Yes.
doctors would come. So that's huge, especially for the Black community
Oh
now.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Hospitals are a little can be a little dangerous for us.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're dangerous. I mean, we're going to give birth and our women and babies are dying. And that's
Mhm.
sad. That's
That
something
is a
that
fact. That is
yeah.
a fact. I will say that we need to have options, all the options. We need
Hmm.
to have good, solid birthing hospitals that will take care of us and our
Yes,
needs and
agreed.
have good outcomes. And we need to be able to also choose to have our babies at home if we want
Mhm.
to, or in a whatever. But I'm a big options kind of person, and
Yes.
so this doula, you know, resurgence is about options,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely a resurgence. My goddaughter, she her parents they had her in the hospital, but then her sister they did a water birth, and
yeah,
it
yeah,
was a not at the hospital. It was with
yeah.
at a birthing center, which is
Right, right,
a
right,
little bit
right.
different, so on and so forth. But yeah, they wound up going through that piece because of not only their experience at the hospital, it wasn't bad, but they wanted something more
Yeah,
natural, more intimate.
intimate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 all of
yeah.
that.
It's all options, right? As a
Mhm.
consumers, we should have all the options available to us.
Yeah, definitely. And then going back into the horticulture space that you were talking about, this gentleman was in, that has been a big,
Yeah,
I'll say, forefront of my mind for us as Black people is that we are not in the farming, growing, whatever space anymore. And
yeah.
that, I mean, quite frankly, that's what built America
Yes,
off
that's
of
that's
us.
that's in our DNA, right? That's
Right.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And we
yeah.
need to we
Whether
need to
whether
take
we
that
want to
back.
do it for a living or not, we should all have a calling towards that because that's where our ancestry comes from. And
Yes.
I tell people that Jumpstart in particular all the time. Because we also bring history and culture into this space, and
Yes.
that's what makes it different than going to just, I mean, and again, I think people should go to everything that will help them with their business,
Mhm.
but we try to center it in our history and our culture. And I often tell entrepreneurs, listen, there would be so few industries in this country and this world if it weren't for cotton.
Right.
And there would be a lot of people, all those people that are making millions and millions off of cotton in lots of different ways would
Mhm.
not have that opportunity had it not been for our ancestors, because somebody
Right.
has to grow that cotton and somebody has to pick that cotton, and without that there isn't this industry and this
Mhm.
gazillion and millions of dollars that are floating out there. So we already did the hardest part
Yeah.
for the industry. So certainly we can now turn cotton into something that we want
Exactly.
to sell. Yeah.
Exactly. That's actually an industry that I wish we could take back in some way, where Black people would get back
Oh,
into the cotton and textile industry
oh,
and
huge.
sell clothes to all the rest of the world, right?
Super
So
huge.
like that would be huge, because again, if that was the primary, was that tobacco, sugarcane, that kind of thing, but primary was cotton at the
That's
time.
correct.
So if that was the industry that really, our ancestors were here enslaved, doing that free work under brutal, horrible conditions,
Conditions.
and that built, so to speak, America. Let's take that back. Let's own that, and then let us build and grow and thrive off of that in some way. I would love to see that. I'm trying to figure out how we could do that nationally as a national collective and start. But
Right.
hey, maybe we just start with one little farm somewhere and we'll build off of that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's a guy out there with a
There
business who's,
is.
if you're ready. I mean, I'm actually hiring him myself because I've
Oh,
been
okay.
trying to grow my own vegetables for a little bit. I mean, not all of them, obviously, because I
Uh-huh.
don't have enough space for that. But there are things, for instance, I was telling him, I think that there's, for instance, like watermelon radish, I
Mm,
love, and is really expensive. Like
I've never heard
watermelon
of it.
radish is like $6 a pound.
Oh, wow.
So I'm upstairs on my south window, there's like little seeds growing of watermelon radish, and I'm
Nice.
not usually very successful because I don't know if I have everything that I need. I don't
Yeah.
know what else I need. So I'm hiring him to come in, because there are I mean, I don't have space for a farm, but there are things that in my house
Mhm.
we eat a lot of lettuce. So I don't want to buy bougie lettuce all day long. I mean, I want to cut
Right.
my expenses there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Be more
So
self-sufficient,
yeah,
sustainable, and you know
yeah.
where it comes from. And
And
you
yes, that's the most
Mhm.
important part, actually. I know where it comes from. I know if I put fertilizer on it. I know what kind of fertilizer I put on it. I know what compost, what dirt it grew in. I mean, like,
Mhm.
that's important these
It
days
is.
because there's so much nasty stuff in our food.
Right.
That is actually super critical for me, is to know what I'm putting in my what's in my food and what therefore putting in my body.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's part of it too, right? Health is wealth. Right. And isn't there some kind of initiatives that Aya has been focusing on about like the holistic health piece as well?
Well, we certainly incorporate that into our Jumpstart My Business,
Okay.
because we say to people all the time, like, if your health is not where it needs to be, I don't care how successful your business is, right? I mean,
Right.
you need to be here and you need to be well to be able to run a business, to be able to run it long enough to leave it to others, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So we do definitely try to support people in there, and even in our when we collect data from our entrepreneurs, we are
Mhm.
asking about their mental health, we're asking about their physical health, and what toll is entrepreneurship taking on those.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. Well, real quick, we have a comment, and I want to address this. I think this kind of went back to earlier when you were talking, Benny, about it says, why are the foundations just supporting nonprofits? That comes from Kelly.
Yeah, that's a
So
Kelvin, that's Kellen, that's a really good question, and the reason is there are a couple reasons. One is a philanthropic charitable organization by IRS rules is supposed to only do charity work, and And that means that charity work is supporting a 501c3 that's
Mhm.
also doing charity work.
Mm.
Now, you all are not nonprofits, you are for profits, and philanthropic charity money should not in the way it's thought about normally go to for profits, right? It should go to charity.
Mhm.
However, because the Black community has been discriminated against, because we don't have the networks of family and friends to give us money to start our business, and that is because we don't have, as a community, we don't have all the money to be able, the capital to be able to do those things.
Right.
Our lawyers consider it charity
Mm.
because we are trying to right a wrong. We're trying to rectify a disparity that
Yeah.
happened due to discrimination. So the funny thing is that, and there's a risk. Nonprofits don't give, foundations don't give for-profits money because there's a risk, right?
Mhm.
There's a risk. I mean, I actually say to people all the time, we don't, I don't, I'm not saying if the IRS comes to ask Aya, when the IRS comes to say, why are you giving money to all these for profits? We are going to have a legal stance on that. Of course, that has been vetted with an attorney and all of that. But I'm pretty sure the day is going to come because it's very unusual. And that's because the IRS wants charity money to go to charities, and
Mm.
for profits aren't technically charity unless you are talking about Black for profits who can't get ahead
Right.
because of all the disparities that have existed.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. And then another question is Aya encouraging critical infrastructure businesses such as manufacturing, support services, and more?
We
Yes.
are, we don't see enough of them, but we are prepared to support them. We don't see enough people in sustainability, solar, environmental
Mhm.
industries. We don't see enough people I was telling you, BJ, in the outdoor recreation space.
Yeah.
But certainly we don't see enough people in international trade, right? I mean, I want to see more Black people doing business across the world.
Right.
So we don't see them enough, but we certainly, when the few that have come through, we really try to support them and connect them as much as we can.
Right. And then Tanoa, did you have something you wanted to say on that too?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with Benny. I think we're ready to support any organization or business that comes through the doors. And if we don't have the resource, we have the resource that can support them. I think that's one of the most critical things that we have created is like our Aya Connections platform is like we can connect you to the attorney that you may need support with. We can connect you to the marketing consultant that you may need to talk about your story to. We may be able to connect you to a program and an accelerator. Even if we don't have it, we know someone who does. And so like that's what I'm saying around the warm pass off is super important to us. But we're ready for you on a foundational level. When we talk about business plan, when we talk about strategy, being able to match you with a coach and be able to walk this journey with you, we're ready for all those things. Infrastructure, I think most times our businesses are not thinking about infrastructure or long term. Like I said, we get in because it is a passion of ours. We're resilient people, so we're going to figure things out. I really want our entrepreneurs to start to think about those small pieces that give us hell that are important to the overall well-being of where we decide to go in our businesses.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, y'all hear that? Aya is ready for y'all out there. Okay. Aya is ready for you. Step
They
on up,
really are.
get into one of these cohorts, come get this help. All right. Aya is ready to support you. And I think, like, kind of going back to this question. And good morning, Glenn. Louisiana Glenn's out there, Shark with the Fork. If y'all want some good food. He's got the po' boys, he's got barbecue, he's got it all up there. He's up there in is it Firestone? Firestone, right, Glenn? He's up there in Firestone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not too many
Yeah.
black people in Firestone, but Glenn's up
No,
there.
Glenn, if we can help you reach out. I mean, I worry about those who are out there, way out there in the different parts of rural Colorado who are, yeah.
Right? Oh yeah, definitely. And so I just saw a cupcake business that's in Greeley. Like
Where?
yeah, in Greeley, Colorado.
I
It's
love
called
it.
Enchanted Cupcakes and More. So I mean,
I love
we
it.
that people want to talk about like, hey, are black people really in Colorado? Hey,
We
I'm
are.
surprised that black people are in these other little spaces in Colorado.
I love it.
But we're everywhere. But I do want to touch on this infrastructure piece that Kellen did bring up, and then I'll get to Dre White's question here as well. Is that one of the areas I think that we have been missing in the Black community specifically is with the ability to work in the CDOT space, so the Colorado Department of Transportation, right? In that we don't have businesses that are set up to take advantage of that type of funding, right? And I would love to, like, for example, where's the Black asphalt company, right? That could do, work on roads.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
huge. There's good
Yeah.
money there, right? And
Yeah.
getting those contracts or building out some of these roadways or aqueducts and such as we're expanding all across the metro area and in these other areas. Where are those, types of businesses that we should be taking advantage of, but just probably don't exist? And what barriers are there that are keeping us maybe from getting into those spaces, right?
Yeah.
So that's huge. And then, Glenn says, yes, ma'am, we'll be contacting you guys.
Yeah, we really want to help. I will say IA supports the state, so we really want to help support entrepreneurs who are out there outside of the Denver metro area, because it's really easy for people in the Denver metro area to get our support, but we really want to make sure that rural people and outside of metro Denver are getting our support.
Yeah, exactly. And Dre White, oh, I'm sorry, Tanoa, did you have something?
I just want to touch real quick on what you just said around like these companies. And I think sometimes it's not knowing, sometimes it's not having the access to what is. I'm a small business that's certified with the city. It's a tedious process. And sometimes we don't want to go through the damn process, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have somebody to walk with us on the process. So I will say that with an IA Foundation and even the resources that we have, we are prepared to walk with you if that is what you want to do. If you want to be a minority certified business here in the state of Colorado, we are here to support you in that. But it goes back to those pieces that I said earlier. We have to have a business plan. We have to understand what an operating agreement is. We have to understand what our nexus codes are. Like, what the hell is that? Most things we just don't know, so we won't go do it. And when we want to go do it, we want somebody to walk with us that has experienced it, that understands it. There's no judgment there, right? So this goes back to when I said, like, IA wants to create necessary space for Black entrepreneurs that really doesn't exist. And so I think it is important and critical to know, like, we can be in these spaces and we can overcome barriers around certifications and what's accessible to us in order to grow our businesses. And that's something that I believe that IA will continue to fill in that gap, or at least make sure that we have the appropriate partners in our ecosystem to make sure that entrepreneurs do have those things.
Nice. Now, I do like to educate folks. So when you bring up stuff like, what is a nexus code? Go ahead and tell people what is a nexus code.
So it's basically a code that designates the type of work you do. I think it's a 5-digit code, and it's tied to the work. So when people pull that long list of we're looking for general contractors that do X, they're going to pull your nexus codes. Your nexus codes are tied to your business. And when you apply for your certifications through the city and county of Denver, it helps you see like what your codes are. Like, I didn't know what my codes were until I actually went through the process. And there's so many codes, but you want to make sure the codes align best with your work, so that when they are saying, oh, this job needs 10% minority businesses, they're pulling that, right? And it needs to be associated to what they're actually looking for. So you can have multiple nexus codes that align to the business and the work that you do.
Right. And I do want to make a distinction that that's very important when we're talking governmental work.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
typically as
Consumer.
important when you're doing like general consumer, but
Yeah.
definitely for government
Yeah.
work. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And I
And
think that we want to, like, particularly if you work with a coach, and we do one-on-one business coaching for 6 months with folks, and that could be anything from getting your business plan done with a coach to getting your scaling plan done, the pricing, whatever. But I think part of that is the sort of like really honing down on what you want to do and what's the strategy to do that, right? Because not everybody wants to their bread and butter to come from the government contracts,
yeah,
right? Because that's a whole animal in itself. And
indeed.
I mean, you have to be really ready for that stuff. And if you are, it's because government money is a lot of money, so
Mhm.
you could be super profitable, but it takes a certain kind of perseverance and stamina and just having all the T's crossed, right? I mean, to
Yep.
do that. But there's also just consumer, like, how do I reach consumers?
Mhm.
So I just, and either way, you really just need to know
Yeah.
which way you want to go and how you go about that.
Yeah.
That's key right there, is just knowing. I think sometimes we just don't know what we don't know, so we think it doesn't exist. And I think a lot of this goes back to entrepreneurs just needing to research,
Mhm.
right? Like, Google is free. There's so many free resources out there, and take it down the rabbit hole as far as you need to go in
Yeah.
order to understand where you want to be. I want entrepreneurs to understand, like, I want you to be able to hone in on the one thing, do the one thing really, 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 really
Mm-hmm.
excellent.
Yes.
And then we can think about the reinvestment of the many things that we want to give and leave for our communities, because we do talk about this, several pillars of income, and like, what does that look like? But I think when we understand the one thing that we do, and we do that one thing very well, you can start to have multiple disciplines within the ecosystem that you do really well and do it differently, but still be doing the one thing.
Yeah.
um, and I want our entrepreneurs to be able to do that, but also go down the rabbit hole of information that you may need in order to understand, is it even something you really want to do? Because what we forget about is there are going to be many barriers that we are going to
Mhm.
have.
Yep.
It is hard,
Yep.
but it's only as hard as we make it. If we galvanize with one another and we see the resources and we're actually asking the questions, we can overcome those things. And that's
Yeah.
what I want our entrepreneurs to be able to see and be able to say to themselves, is like, I can do hard things.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I don't know about you all's experience, but from what I've seen a lot, unfortunately, from the Black entrepreneur community, is that there's a mindset about fire, aim, shoot, right? And it's just like, we're before asking the questions, before getting into the mentorship or research or anything. It's like, nope, I'm just going to go right into this thing, and then they wonder why they're not succeeding, or why things are taking so long, or why their customer base isn't adopting their product or their service the way they'd like to, and then they just kind of give up. Have you all seen that as well, or?
Yeah, when a lot of people
what?
that come to Jumpstart come because that's the issue, right? That's how they started. They
Mhm.
they just had an idea, they just went for it, and now it's like, oh, I mean, you can't just take an idea to the bank.
Yeah.
You have to take a business plan,
Yep.
and you have to know that business plan well. It has to have been developed by you, and you have to have thought about so that you can answer all the questions the bank is going to ask you about your business plan, right?
Right.
I mean, pricing is an interesting piece. We people that come to Jumpstart, that are already running a business, I ask, so why is the price that? And I
Just
think
made it up.
sometimes it's like, well, that's because that's what the people that I was selling it to could afford,
Mhm.
right? And
Right.
we're like, but that's not how we do pricing,
Not at all.
right? I mean, and it's your pricing producing a profit. right? Like, have you built in, right? Like all your time, all the materials, and your time. We forget about our time. I mean,
Yeah.
that is for sure. Black people we forget about our time altogether,
Right.
right? We need to go back to saying our time is worth something, and and it has a dollar amount to it,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna put that in to the formula for how much I'm gonna charge.
Right.
So anyway, we see that in Jumpstart, right? To know, I mean, like,
Oh yeah. I'm like, you made that price up, what? But it's funny that y'all say that, because in this cohort that just finished, we kind of went down a tailspin of pricing, right? And I think it's a mindset of our people and what has been said to us, right? We know that if a Black owned business messes up, we are throwing them through the ringer. We are not coming back. We're like, oh my God, da 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 da, right?
Scorched earth.
We've seen it. We're not doing that for Walmart. We're not doing that for McDonald's or none of that stuff, right? McDonald's has had all the issues. We are still going through the drive-through every time, hoping for a better experience.
Talk
And so
about it.
I think the reality is we have this idea about how our services should be and what they should cost, and like, if you're Black, I should be giving you the discount because like you're my people. And it's like, no, you have value, right? I told the class, I'm like, when you go to McDonald's, you order your food, you then go to the window to pay, then you get your food. You do not order your food, get your food, you would drive off.
Right.
Not a thing. And so we have to get out of that mentality of we have to just be giving things away. We have to follow this process and know that the price that
And expecting thing to be given something too. That part, right? Because you don't go, like you said, you don't go to McDonald's like, hey, you gonna give me, a free, McFlurry or something like that or whatever. So like, why are we doing that to each other? So sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, that is true. I think that's what we're used to, right? If I know you and I know you need something, I think there's a way to barter services. Yes, I think we don't do enough of that, of bartering services that are the same, right? Like that cost maybe the same. But I think it is getting out of the mindset that I have to be doing this thing for you for free or for the hookup or whatever. Our counterparts are not doing that. The price is the price. And guess what? We use them and do their services, and we're not asking them about why is it $1,000 or why is it this, right? And so like really owning that price and showing up in our work and executing on the work so that we can continue to build the rapport so people understand why we are charging what we charge or why it is worth it. And knowing too that like our lived experiences and who we are is the reason why we can do the work that we do. And so we have to own that part of the story too.
Right. No, that part. We have to show up and do the work, right? That we're setting that price at so that the value is there, because that has been a shortcoming with a lot of Black businesses. Again, there are really great ones out there, but unfortunately, from my experience, from what the community has experienced, is that they'll charge a price. I don't care if it's $5 for something or $500 for something, and the value isn't there. The experience isn't there. And it's like, all right, whatever you're charging, there should be this experience, this minimum level of professionalism, right? With that comes along with that price. And if you can show up for that, people will pay that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you're charging and you're not even given like the minimum level, it's like, all right, see, I knew it. That's how they were.
Well, and I'm sure you get these kinds of calls too, BJ, because you have been in this industry and this work and know so many businesses. But like I had this week, we had a bride to be call us. She's getting married in September, and she said, I want to source Black businesses for my wedding, but it's my wedding. So I want it to be great. So she came to us and said, tell me who the great caterers, photographer, who can I know is going to show up at I'm still willing to put my money with my community,
Yeah.
but they have to show up for me because this is the most important day of my life, right?
Right.
And I said, we can do that because we certainly have Black
Mhm.
businesses who have a reputation of excellence, and but that is a typical mindful, smart consumer who
Yeah.
will go to a source to say, I want your referrals.
Yep.
And of course, our referrals are going to be tight because
Yeah.
if something goes wrong,
Right.
it's right.
Right.
So
I don't
I just
recommend
want
everybody. I'll say
that's
that.
I want businesses to know that that's how it goes, right? People
Mhm.
call people and say, who's the best, who's gonna do this for me, do it right, who's gonna be there, who's I mean, can't a bride can't handle a photographer not showing up for her
Right.
wedding.
Right.
That just cannot happen, right?
On time, which means before time. It's not on. If the wedding is at 2, you're not there at 2.
Right. That part. Come on.
But anyway, so I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Let me get back to some of these questions, and then after some of these questions, I have you all just kind of dig into some of the other things that are going on with Aya, like the next
Yeah.
cohort that people could get involved in the fall,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But let me ask. Let's see. Dre White says, when it comes to outdoor recreation, what exactly is Aya looking for or talking about?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm coming into this industry learning about it more myself. I for the last 3 years I sit on the outdoor equity board of the state, which is fueled by Colorado lottery dollars, and sit at Colorado Parks and Wildlife. So my understanding of this industry has really grown. And I'm myself, I like the outdoors, so I try to do a lot there. But it's I did hear it's a $12 billion business in the state of Colorado.
Yeah.
And you are I personally can count with both hands the number of Black business providers in this space. So people who I know that BJ, I've seen that through BJ's platforms. The guy that does fishing has a fishing business.
Knock 'em down, boy, fishing excursions.
But
Yep.
who's and I'm not talking nonprofits. I'm talking for profits,
Yep.
right? Who is renting equipment, outdoor equipment, skis.
Yep.
I mean, that's a huge business, right? Like
Huge.
who is doing tours, in the outdoors, who is, there's one person, well, there's two people that I knew that take people fishing, but fishing is actually a cultural thing for Black people. And we don't have enough tour people taking people out fishing, taking people out hiking, and not just here, but just in the world. I mean, how many Black people have kayaked down the
Colorado River, Platte River.
Yes, the Colorado River over by I mean, like those things. I mean, I don't believe that that none of us want to do these things. But if there are some of us who are doing these things, we have to go with a white provider because there are not enough Black people in the space. That's what I mean by outdoor recreation. Is like there's so much going on. Is there a tubing hill that people pay to go to? Does somebody own a tubing hill?
Yeah.
A golf equipment, right? Like I would love to go buy my golf equipment from a Black golf shop.
Absolutely. Biking, cycling, who's selling e-bikes? I mean, who
all of that. Okay. Yeah. And then he also says, this is back over to Tanoa. Good point, T. As senior branch manager in the banking industry, the need for proper business coaching is a must. Two things as a people we must do is hone in on financial education as well as client experience coaching. My 13 years in this industry, I'm always willing to help and talk business. And then Glenn throws back in here. So I took all the restaurants in my area, but no one no one is doing the food that I do. So I took a couple of places in Denver to compare as far as research he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keisha says, good morning, spiritual life coach, focus on trauma and healing. And yes, on time. Way to go, Keisha. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So real quick, let's kind of bring it back into Aya here. So as far as what you have coming up, there's a fall cohort for Jumpstart My Biz. You want to talk about that?
The fall cohort is October. We host class at the Posner International Development Center. And it is every Tuesday from 6 o'clock until 8:30. We provide dinner, so please come to eat, of course, because we definitely believe that in our community, when we break bread, we break barriers and conversations. So we eat first before we actually start our class. And then registration for that class is going to open some point in August. So stay tuned for that. That means join our emailing list or shoot us an email so that we can get you the information that you need when that time comes. But yeah, that's our next cohort.
And I did put your links in the
Yes.
chat so people can go there for Jumpstart My Biz and the IF Foundation for all of their programs. Also, if you're looking to donate and support this work. They will take that. They love your money.
Yeah, and if I can just add with that donation, indeed, I mean, we are doing it. There wasn't a foundation. Now there is a foundation, and we don't have an endowment like every other foundation, right? So everything that we do on behalf of Black entrepreneurs, we raise that money to do that. Our goal is to seed an endowment, so that 10, 20 years from now, there is money that's feeding this work. But right now we have to raise all of it. And your donations are very much appreciated at any level. And the important thing to know about Aya is that when we are an enterprise zone tax credit project, which means that when you donate to us, if you donate $25 or more, you get a 25% credit on your Colorado state income tax. Not a deduction, a straight up credit on your state income tax. And of course, donations are also part of what a business can write off, right?
Yeah.
So you need to think about it that way too. So that's all I'll say.
No, let me speak on that real quick too, Benny. Is that this is the Black Community
That's
Foundation.
correct.
So
That's correct.
if you're going to put money in anything, if you're going to donate to anything, donate to the Black Foundation that's putting it back into the Black community.
That's correct.
So if you need a tax write-off as a business, think Aya Foundation.
That's
you need
correct.
a tax write-off as an individual, think Aya Foundation. And then through the donor advised funds, you can set that up through Aya Foundation as well, so that you can put your money right here in with Aya. It can then get invested so it can grow a little bit as well. And then you can dictate where that money's going to go to other organizations as well. And Aya will help, house that donor advised fund, that DAF for you as well. So think about setting that up. Talk to your financial planner, talk to your tax consultant about all these different options, because this is a community structure as part of our ecosystem within the Black economic space. We have to fund the Aya Foundation.
Yeah.
We have to do it ourselves. We can't rely on outside entities, because we see what's going on with the administrations and all those different things. And just in general, we can't rely and be dependent on other people. We have to close ranks, circle the wagon, so to speak, and do for ourselves, for our family, the Black family here. So I'm sorry, let me jump off my soapbox. I'll go back to you all. All right. And so to know, so we got the cohort starting in fall. Yes. We got the link down there. People can jump into that. We also have the holiday market coming up in November as well. That's coming.
Yes. So Harambe is our holiday market. We hosted it for the first time last year, and pretty quickly outgrew that space. We held it at the Posner. So this year we are holding it at oh my God, why did I just draw a blank?
New Hope Baptist
Church. Good Lord. I'm like thinking of the dates and everything else in my head. So New Hope Baptist Church, we are hosting it there on November 21st and 22nd. We are looking for vendors. So if you are interested in, selling your products, we are looking for people to do that. And so it is a fall market. It's pre Small Business Saturday. So the week before Small Business Saturday, it was just a dope space to be in, to look and see Black and brown entrepreneurs selling their products and services within our community. Again, it's always thinking like, dang, I didn't even know it existed until it's like in that space.
Yeah.
I think the most powerful thing that we experienced too was like, it was some people's first time ever vending and actually making money and see
Mm-hmm.
themselves in the opportunity to be
Mm-hmm.
able to do something that they love and make money from it, and people enjoy it.
And
Um,
meeting customers.
yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that is happening in November. And that information is going to go out here very, very soon to the
Mark your
public. And so,
calendars now.
yep, November 21st and 22nd, all day long. We are going to be there all day long. So we would love to see you and anything that you're interested in vending. Just shoot us an email and we will get back to you. We're super excited to have you all in this space for sure.
Yeah, and I want you to remember that if you've been in Denver for a long time, there used to be a black market for the holidays
Mhm.
called the Ujamaa Market, if
Yeah.
anybody remembers that, and it sort of disappeared, right? Because a lot of times we're functioning in the grassroots space and
Yeah.
we're not building institutions, and we felt like, again, now there isn't a black market and we need to bring one out, and the one of the sororities did a market too, which was
Mhm.
great. But our market was super successful, and I want to also set expectations. We please apply to be a vendor, and we have to curate a market, right? I
Mhm.
mean, because our market, everybody came to shop at our market, not just black people. Everybody came,
Everybody.
and that's what we need in order for people to make money at the
Right.
market. And in order to have a market that's very appealing, we need to have it well curated. We need to have a variety of things that people would be, interested in. And so I just want to set expectations that we obviously don't have an infinite number of booths. We're probably doubling the number of booths that we had last year,
Mm.
but it's still not an infinite number of booths. And we as a business, right? Like, I mean, we're not a real business, but running a business, a market is a business, are trying to first and foremost, quite frankly, please the consumer base that's going to
Yeah.
come and shop.
Yeah.
First and foremost, that's our focus, is for consumers who would shop our holiday market to be very happy with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I love how you said like everybody was there like buying. What I like to pitch this phrase out there to the black community is that buy black, sell to everybody, right?
That's correct.
So us as black people, like buy black, sell to everybody out there.
Absolutely. I love
Uh,
that.
Yeah, Keisha says, I'd love to vend. I saw it afterwards when a friend posted it.
Yeah.
And Glenn says, I'd like to invite you all to the Mercantile in Meade, Colorado, April 12th,
Yeah.
4 p.m. until sold out for some of his food. I have tried Glenn's food and it is good.
Glenn, I think you should really send us an email so we can follow up with you. I would go to Mead. I see Wildboard Farms on the line
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
and we've certainly worked with Terrence, and I always say he's my favorite regenerative rancher.
Oh yeah, no, Terrence is awesome. I love Terrence.
But I've been to the farm, so we are really interested in those people who are far away from the metro area, because we want to make sure you have the access too.
Yeah, definitely. So Glenn, he says he'll send the post to me, and I can tag you on that. But definitely, Glenn, like send it to Aya as well. So get ayafoundation.org, and you can send it directly to them and just tell them, hey, remember
Yep.
me on the podcast and the Black Friday show, and they'll connect up with you too, Glenn. All right. Any final thoughts about Aya? Anything else going on that the people need to be aware of before we get out of here?
Yeah, I think people need to know we are hosting our first fundraiser in the first 5 years. We've never had a fundraiser, and this is going to be our first fundraiser. And we want to invite our community out. It's going to be a pickleball tournament.
Pickleball.
Yes, it is September 13th at Mile High Pickleball. And we are going to be setting up some classes and lessons too, if people want to learn how to play. And it's going to be a great family event. We're going to have a tournament, and for those who know, but we also are holding space for those who want to learn.
Yeah.
But wanted to do something active for our community. We wanted to claim our space in the pickleball world of things.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's September 13th. And you'll hear more about that. And Tano, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Nope, I would just say we have all the things you all need. So come see us at any time. Like I said, outside of Jumpstart, if you are looking for a business coach and you want to walk a journey with someone, we offer that. Again, that's a 6-month program. And I think it's really impactful for entrepreneurs to be able to walk with someone on the journey. And so if you're looking for that, we have that. But again, check out programming on our website. We do a lot of different things, and again, can tag you into different resources that we have. So just don't feel like you are on a siloed island. I is here to support you, serve you, and just see you and hear you. So that's my final thoughts.
And just to follow up, Jumpstart My Biz is free, right?
It is a free class.
Right?
But you pointed that out. Yes, it is free.
Yeah, so this is free resources for you all. You don't even have to pay. But we would like you to donate if you have that opportunity to donate, right? So that it can maintain this freeness for the entire community. And is the business coaching free as well?
The business coaching is free, but there also is an opportunity to have paid coaching as well. It goes back to exactly what you just said. Reach one. If I got it, you don't have it, it just keeps going. So business coaching, if you are in a position and you are making money in your business, goes up to $250. But it really just depends on where you are. We are always looking at how much money are you making and generating in your business, and like where are you at on the entrepreneur journey. So yeah, we have things from scholarships all the way up to $250 a month. And again, your small donation then helps the next person that really absolutely needs the free service. So it's kind of this sliding scale, if you will, just to make sure that we are continuing to filter into our ecosystem those that need it. And that you're reaching back to, the people that don't have it.
Gotcha.
And it's really important for us to be able to tell our donors and our funders that we are investing in ourselves too.
Yes.
So you better believe it that when I write a report to a donor or a funder who's given us money to do this work, that it always is better if I can say, just like, for instance, it's important for me to be able to say 100% of our board gives to Aya, which is, something that I can say. But it's also important to say, whenever possible, Black entrepreneurs and the Black community is contributing to this effort also.
Definitely. No, I love it. We got to create this ecosystem, circulate this Black dollar, cooperative economics. This is our foundation, y'all. This is the Black Foundation in Colorado. Aya Foundation. This is for us, by us, so to speak, right? FUBU, don't come after me. I'm helping y'all out. But like this is how we support us, right? This is how we make sure that we're not dependent on the system, on people that could potentially be oppressing us in certain ways. I'm not going to say everybody does, but we want to make sure that we are insulated and isolated from any harm that might come our way. And this is how we do it, is to continue to help further and support the work that Aya Foundation is doing and other like organizations that are doing for us, by us. So make sure if you have, a need for a tax write-off, hey, donate to Aya. If you have a need for any of the services like Jumpstart My Biz or anything else that's going on, the business coaching that they have going on, jump in that. It's free as of right now. The holiday market's coming up. Pickleball fundraisers coming up. I know a lot of y'all play pickleball. It happens at my church. There's like 1 million pickleball teams at my church, and they're blowing up. So pickleball is on the move, y'all. So make sure you mark off your calendars for that on September 17th to go play pickleball, get into that fundraiser, and then just support the Black business community, the economic space that we're building in, and join the Aya newsletter so you know what's coming next.
Yeah. We'd love to we'd love to. We're always telling stories about, we love to feature entrepreneurs and businesses. Please, send us your stories. We write stories about folks. We share,
Yeah.
I mean, people come to us all the time and say, where can I find a Black entrepreneur on this, on that, or the other? I mean, so I think that the curiosity and the interest is out there, and we want to feature your businesses, but we also want to tell your stories. We're big about storytelling, and
Yeah.
so
Definitely. And Glenn's asking, where's Wild Boy Farm located? Glenn, he's in Matheson, Colorado. So that's where the farm is out there. And then we also have Freedom Acres Ranch, the other Black-owned ranch that's out here, and they're out there in Yoder, Colorado as well. So 2 Black-owned farms, Wild Boy Farm, Freedom Acres Ranch. If you do anything with meat out here, make sure you tap into those farmers and source your product locally and from a Black-owned farm. All right.
yeah.
All right. Well, ladies, again, thank you. We had the IF Foundation here. So pleased to have you on the Black Friday show. Again, y'all like, share out this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll catch you guys next time on the Black Friday show. Peace.
Thank you, BJ.
Bye.